So the second time you write a program to do it. And I wish I could do that for my own existence. I could just figure out things, keep improving. And once I've nailed it, let the AI loose on that. And maybe even let the AI better it better than I could have.
But doesn't the concept of, you said me and I can work on new things, but doesn't that break down? Because you said digital twin, but there's no reason it can't be millions of digital Manolases.
Yeah.
Aren't you lost in the sea of Manolases? The original is hardly the original. It's just one of millions.
I want to have the room to grow. Maybe the new version of me, that the actual me, will get slightly worse sometimes, slightly better other times. When it gets slightly better, I'd like to emulate that and have a much higher standard to meet and keep going.
But does it make you sad that your loved ones, the physical, real loved ones, might kind of like start cheating on you with the other Manolases?
I want to be there 100% of them for each of them. So I have zero perks or zero qualms about me being physically me, like zero jealousy.
Wait a minute, but isn't that like? Don't we hold on to that? Isn't that why we're afraid of death? We don't want to lose this thing we have going on. Isn't that an ego death? When there's a bunch of other Manolases, you get to look at them. They're not you. They're just very good copies of you. They get to live a life. It's fear of missing out. It's FOMO. They get to have interactions. And you don't get to have those interactions.
There's two aspects of every person's life. There's what you give to others, and there's what you experience yourself.
Yeah.
Life truly ends when you experiencing ends. But the others experiencing you doesn't need to end.
But your experience, you could still, I guess you're saying the digital twin does not limit your ability to truly experience as a human being.
The downside is when, my wife or my kids will have a really emotional interaction with my digital twin and I won't know about it.
Yeah.
So I will show up and they now have the baggage, but I don't. So basically what makes interactions between humans unique in this sharing and exchanging kind of way is the fact that we are both shaped by every one of our interactions. Mm-hmm. I think the model of the digital twin works for dissemination of knowledge, of advice, etc., where, I want to have wise people give me advice across history. I want to have chats with Gandhi, but Gandhi won't necessarily learn from me, but I will learn from him. So in a way, the dissemination and the democratization rather than the building of relationships.
So the emotional aspect of it. So there should be an alert when the AI system is interacting with your loved ones. Exactly. And all of a sudden it starts getting like emotionally fulfilling, like a magical moment. There should be, stop. AI system like freezes. There's an alert on your phone. You need to take over.
Yeah. I take over, and then whoever I was speaking with, it can have the AI or like one of the AIs.
This is such a tricky thing to get right. I mean, it's still. There's going to go wrong in so many interesting ways that we're going to have to learn as a society.
Yeah.
That in the process of trying to automate our tasks and having a digital twin, for me personally, if I could have a relatively good copy of myself, I would set it to start answering emails. But I would set it to start tweeting. I would like to replace
it gets better. What if that one is actually way better than you?
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're like,
well, I wouldn't want that because
why?
Because then I would never be able to live up to, like, what if the people that love me start loving that thing, and then I already fall short. I would be falling short even more.
So listen, I'm a professor. The stuff that I give to the world is the stuff that I teach, but much more importantly, number one, the stuff that I teach. Number two, the discoveries that we make in my research group, but much more importantly, the people that I train. Mm-hmm. They are now out there in the world teaching others. If you look at my own trainees, they are extraordinarily successful professors. So Anshul Kundaji at Stanford, Alex Stark at IMP in Vienna, Jason Ernst at UCLA, Andreas Fenning at CMU. Each of them, I'm like, wow, they're better than I am. And I love that. So maybe your role will be to train better versions of yourself, and they will be your legacy. Not you doing everything, but you training much better version of Lex Fridman than you are. And then they go off to do their mission, which is in many ways what this mentorship model of academia does.
But the legacy is ephemeral. It doesn't really live anywhere. The legacy, it's not like written somewhere. It just lives through them.
But you can continue improving and you can continue making even better versions of you.
Yeah, but they'll do better than me at creating new versions. It's awesome, but it's, there's a ego that says there's a value to an individual, and it feels like this process decreases the value of the individual, this meat bag, right? If there's good digital copies of people, then there's more flourishing of human thought and ideas and experiences, but there's less value to the individual human.
I don't have any such limitations. I don't have that feeling at all. Like, I remember one of our interviews, I was basically saying, the meaning of life, you had asked me, and I was like, I came back and I was like, I felt useful today. And I was at my maximum. I was, like 100%, and I gave good ideas, and I was a good person, I was a good advisor, I was a good husband, a good father. That was a great day because I was useful. And if I can be useful to more people by having a digital twin, I will be liberated, because my urge to be useful will be satisfied. Doesn't matter whether it's direct me or indirect me, whether it's my students that I've trained, my AI that I've trained. I think there's a sense that my mission in life is being accomplished, and I can work on my self-growth.
I mean, that's a very Zen state. That's why people love you. It's a Zen state you've achieved. But do you think most of humanity would be able to achieve that kind of thing? Is the people really hold on to the value of their own ego. That it's not just being useful. Being useful is nice as long as it builds up this reputation, and that meat bag is known as being useful, therefore it has more value. Right? People really don't want to let go of that ego thing.
I